You like that?
We stand, or we're not.
Yeah, I know.
Roll. Honorable.
Oh.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state,
under God,
one and indivisible. Let us pray. God, I thank you again so much for what we get to do here in the Hutchinson County. God, I pray that you give us wisdom, guide us, lead us, and let us know exactly, Father, what would be prudent for our constituents, our families, and all of our friends here in Hutchinson County. Let us make wise decisions and be with us today in this meeting. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for the rain. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 It's not raining yet, but I'm speaking.
You're speaking. I like it. Like that,
Thing we can to encourage it.
Right.
right?
Well, it's being hopeful today.
Right.
The Wednesday.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the bills. Does anyone have any questions? Comments or a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. Let's start it.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Amy, do you have payroll?
I have a new employee, 17 months in adult probation. She started 4/11/2023.
Thank you. Okay, item 5, any additions or corrections to our previous commissioners court meeting?
No additions or corrections to the April 10th, 2023 meeting.
And any public comments? Oh, thank you.
Didn't even look. Nope.
Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda, we're happy to have the Hutchinson County Rabbit Club here. And they have a presentation.
So this is just my kids, but we do have 23 other children that are in our Hutchinson County 4-H Rabbit Club. We went to convention in Reno back in October. One of our families that showed mini Rex got 3 best of varieties at convention, and Mallory was on Team Texas, who placed second out of all 51 states. Avery Speed competed at the state level and got second place with her art. At convention, Carly, she got best color photo, best black and white photo, second place poster, best amber, best chocolate, second place otter, second place black. And she placed number 3 in the nation overall for the year. In state, she won best opposite of breed and is going to be on Team Texas for convention for the 100th anniversary in Louisville, Kentucky this year. And she shows Rex. Harley, can you tell them a little bit about the rabbit you brought?
His name is Huey. He's a buck. He's very sweet. They're number 1 in bird production, as you guys felt.
They're also a meat rabbit,
They're a meat rabbit.
and he's fat and overweight. And then Callie here, she got best black Himalayan, best blue Himalayan. She won best of breed for the 2nd year in a row. She won first place color photo, first place black and white photo, first place poster board. They came in 2nd place overall for Team Texas. They also came in 2nd place with the Quiz Bowl at the national level. She made Team Texas again this year to compete for the extra events such as showmanship, judging, breed ID, and Quiz Bowl. And she won best of breed at state. And Callie, tell them about your rabbit.
They only come in 4 colors: black, blue, chocolate, and lilac. They're the only cylindrical breed. And black was recognized in 1851.
So do you have a lilac?
Yes,
She has all 4 colors.
Cool.
about to be 5 once orange planted.
And when she says cylindrical.
How good?
breed,
Why don't you get them down on the
That's what I was
floor
gonna-
here and show 'em?
Yeah, show them what, how you would present.
Oh, this is the.
The
yeah,
Pringles can.
Yeah, the Pringles can, yeah.
So they-
Aw, and it just sits.
Better than a dog.
And he will,
Never mind.
if he's behaving, he will sit there for however long. He,
Olaf wants to visit everybody.
yeah,
Mhm.
but you want them shaped like a Pringles can like that, and she does a really good job on showing that as well. And you roll them to try to get them to stay like that. It helps their muscles relax.
Hmm.
So they get scholarships from their breed, and then they get scholarships from the American Rabbit Breeders Association, depending on how they place at nationals and convention. This year at nationals, she came in second with every color she took. And she got best overall fur, which is pretty miraculous, seeing as how we live in the Texas Panhandle. And she was also named Princess of the Himalayan Club for her royalty stuff, which she has to write an essay, do showmanship, judge, and what else did you have to do? Test. So,
But the essay for hennies is only about hennies.
yeah, and Carly, if you want to go ahead and show him, I'll start talking about Keely.
No.
Keely at state won first place tan, first place solid, with her Jersey woolies. She is one of the first youth breeders to have an orange Jersey woolly, which is
Here, get back down there,
which
Carly.
is the newest color. They were just recognized in October. She also made Team Texas and last year was on Team Texas again. She got second place photo, third place black and white photo, and second place poster. And then she was number 9 in the nation for Jersey Woolies, and she was named top herdsman for Jersey Woolies. So she will actually get to present at the 100th ARBA convention in Louisville this year. She will get to present and show the very first orange Jersey Woolly.
Thank you.
And so that's pretty awesome to be able to do that. When I talk about how they place, when they place that well in the nation, that is a minimum. They only place the top 100. They don't place after that. So for them to be in the top 10 of the nation is pretty awesome. And then Kennedy down here. Come here, I have Keely go show them how.
She's gonna bite me in the.
This is Kennedy's first year. Youth does 5 to 18. And Kennedy shows Rex as well as mini Rex. This is her rabbit George. She made Team Texas this year as a first timer. There were 9 kids, but only 4 make the team. There were 28 kids that competed in Callie and Keely's age division. But Kennedy will be able to do showmanship. They do a coloring contest and they do breed ID where they're shown 51 different breeds. And they have to say what kind it is, what color it is, and things like that. And if it's a 4 or 6 class, your meat rabbits are a 6 class.
Except for.
Rex is the only one that is a 4 class that is still a meat. But Kennedy won best opposite at state, and this will be her first convention.
Yay.
But we have, so far this year, we have 12 going to convention this year in Louisville, Kentucky, and representing 11 breeds.
That's awesome.
So very proud of these kiddos and hope we can continue to make this program grow. And y'all have any questions?
You're gonna have to bring them back after your national conventions and let
Yes,
us know
ma'am.
how y'all did.
Yes, ma'am, we will sure do so.
Good job. Good
Rabbits are
job.
the same, they have a lifespan the same as a dog,
How
So-
long is a dog?
up to 15. Now, Carly, do you have one thing to tell them never to feed their rabbits?
Carrots. Lettuce.
Carrots. Oh,
Or lettuce?
Because
So,
why?
Carrots have too much sugar.
So does lettuce.
huh. All right, we need to get a picture.
Do you know Huey's blood sugar?
It's good.
Amy.
But this is my last school year participating in 4-H as well as my other extracurricular. I will be a student.
Oh, okay, you guys, we need a picture with the girls and their rabbit.
Turn around.
Hannah, you gotta get in here too.
Get in, stay back there, stay back there.
Y'all know what else? Louisville.
Let's get together.
There you go. 100 National Rabbit Convention.
Kentucky
Happens in 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
The Kentucky Derby.
Smile. Okay, I'll see you there.
There you go. Okay.
They had a Kentucky Derby around.
At the convention, there's lots of different projects they can do. As y'all seen, when we came to our county show, there's the poetry board and photography contest. But at the same time, arts and crafts, welding, anything that a kid can make. It doesn't actually have to be rabbits, but it's anything that a kid can make. So there's plows there. They quilted stuff, things like that. There is a rabbit division and then there's other divisions. But there's also stuff such as, they'll take the pelts from the wrecks and make blankets or pillows or coats. They'll take the Jersey woolly, wool and make. That is where your Angora sweaters and things like that come from, is from the Jersey woolies and the Angoras. So they learn to spin the wool and things from that. And then the Himalayas, well, they're just retarded and there's not a whole lot to do with them. But Callie actually won the photo contest with spelling out her name with her Himalayan.
Oh, there you go.
Stayed still. So, but there's lots of other things that can do. So if any of y'all would like to come to Louisville, it is the October 7th through the 11th. It's 5 days of these kids really working hard and it's amazing. And they compete against 20,000 plus other youths.
Awesome.
Cool.
So this year they're planning on $1 million in scholarships.
Oh, that's
So. thank
Good
you
luck.
for your time. Yes.
Thank y'all for coming and bringing the rabbits too.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good day.
Good job, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to break into executive session at this time. For consultation with attorney and also deliberations about real property. So if everyone will just Jerry?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, item 9 is to consider and approve any action from an executive session and no action at this time. Item 10 is to consider and or approve tabled item from April the 10th meeting to allow Constable Roman Alejandro to move his cell phone allowance to his equipment line item. So he has provided the necessary paperwork. He got them to send him a bill. Did you give that to me, Alicia?
I think it was in my email,
Yeah,
but it's gonna be $39.99 before taxes, and then there's $16 of insurance, so it'll be about $56 plus taxes.
and he gets $50 a month, so.
So we're just gonna move the entire $300 over to cover.
We just motion it.
Yeah.
I move to move the $300 from the allotted cell phone for the constable into his equipment item, line item,
No, second it.
Okay, we have motion and second.
whatever.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Get all the sign this. Budget amendment.
All right, and item 11 is to consider and or approve a tabled item from our January 23rd agenda, amending personnel policy overtime for emergency response. So we addressed this issue and then we tabled it so we could have a policy committee meeting. And the policy committee met and revised that to what it currently says,
Yeah,
but we didn't bring it back to court.
right.
And so we just need to approve that formally.
Everyone looked at it.
Everyone looked at it.
We were good with it.
Yes.
We just, I forgot to.
And
bring
it,
it back.
what it says is an eligible employee called into work on a holiday or week of the holiday because of an emergency or other special need of the county shall be given straight compensation for the actual hours worked, is what we settled on. So
Which one is that? On
it's
that sheet?
policy on holidays, emergencies, special need, holiday work week. This is what the policy committee revised it to. And this is what's in the policy manual. We just didn't ever bring it back to the commissioner's court for approval. The policy committee just,
That just sounded weird, maybe because the example on that is you work 34 hours, it's on a holiday, well, everybody still gets paid 40 if it's a holiday. But your example is if you work 10 hours, the said employee will receive 4 hours for their compensation time.
So it's physical hours work is what we're,
I know, but
But
if you work 10 hours for the holiday, you still only get 44 total hours, where everybody else is getting 40, even though they work 34. Am I saying that right?
It's just straight time, so it goes to straight time, so we.
Understand.
For the holidays, they're 10 hours for that holiday. So, and they only work those actual physical works. If you physically work over 40 hours, then you get comp time, which is time and a half.
I understand that. What I'm saying is 34 hours, if it's a holiday, everybody's getting paid 40 anyway. Right? If it's a holiday week and you only actually put in 34.
Still have to compensate them if they had to get called out unless they're exempt employees. These are for not exempt employees.
so let me explain. So what was happening was someone works, let's say that week they work 30 hours and everybody's off that Monday because it was a holiday. So you add that 10, now they got 40 altogether. But then the road and bridge guys get called because there's a fire on Thursday. They go out and work 4 hours to help with that fire. So now they get straight time because they didn't work, they got their 40, but then they worked 4 extra hours. So that makes it 44 basically.
So if they worked the 10 hours extra and nobody else had to, they're still only gonna get paid an extra 4 hours.
No. They get
So
paid everything. that
the
they work.
examples, I think you're kind of mixing, so the employee in that example only worked 4 hours. Extra,
Yeah,
like
the example is just,
they didn't work 10 hours on the holiday, they worked that 4 hours extra. I think that's where so they worked 30 during the week and then they get the
physically
10
work
for the
34,
holiday.
so that may be 30 regular and then 4 on the holiday. This is just talking about the comp time, not what they're gonna get paid. They're just gonna get 44 hours.
Does that make
You're
sense?
still gonna get paid the 10 hours for your holiday. Plus the 30 that you work for the other 3 days. And then if you get 4, then you get just straight time for those 4 hours instead of time and a half for those 4 hours.
So if an employee works the 3 days with the vacation, they get called in 6 hours, they're gonna get 6 hours of the straight pay. They didn't work 34 and then go out for 10 extra hours. They worked 30, got the 10 hours for holiday, and then they worked the 4 hours. I think that's,
Okay, we'll see how it works out. If people don't answer their phone, I can't help it.
oh, well, it's,
but if they don't work it, then they don't get it.
yeah, if they don't work it. It's just they still get compensated for going out. There's no free work here. They get their compensation.
And they still get their holiday days.
Time and a half.
Yeah, they just don't get time. and
No, they're
time.
not getting time and a half. I'm just talking about like your example there, doesn't sound right to me.
This is what the policy committee came up with.
Can we make that awarded, not awarded? Can we add the ED to the, just because that's driving me crazy.
Did you get that, Amy?
Well, I'm sorry.
In the example where it says, oh,
No,
Was
it's-
make it awarded.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
weird
it's
like
okay.
that when I
Any
see
other
stuff.
things? I mean, this is what we need.
No, man, I just noticed that one. And if I ever do that, call me out too. I don't want to act like I'm calling you.
Okay. Do we have a motion or?
I move to accept the changes to the personnel policy regarding compensation for actual time worked in the manual.
No, second
Be
it.
done. I was making sure.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 12, consider and or approve the Visual Edge IT technology agreement. So Alicia and I both met with the benchmark / Visual Edge people and they have worked super hard to consolidate all of our contracts into one big contract where we will be paying it as a contract. And then Alicia and Pam will split it up according to department. So with the result of that came that we need to update, I think, 4 machines. And they have those ready to go. Craig's reviewed the contract and did make some, from the one that I sent out for y'all to review, he made some requests, and they have sent me an amendment to that honored all the requests. And they're the same requests Craig made last time. I don't know why they didn't include that, but they did finally. She sent it to me this morning. So the contract is good. Alicia, did you have anything to add as far as that? I think this hopefully will simplify the whole.
The one thing that I had was that it's gonna, when you take the 5-year contract, it's gonna be over the 50,000. So we would really have to go out for bid, but they are part of the Sourcewell purchasing co-op, so that gets around bidding.
And they put that on the contract, their Sourcewell ID.
And
So,
the only other thing is it might be prudent to go out for, get quotes from others just to see what they have to offer. And that's because it is over the, according to purchasing policy, it's over the 25. You're supposed to get more than one quote.
The only thing that she mentioned that is if we. There was something about that if we had to go, I think if we had to go out for.
Because the buyout of the contracts are gonna be pretty pricey.
Pretty
The
pricey.
buyout of-
So if we decided to go with a different company, say,
Because what they're
Tesco's or
basically
whoever.
doing is just refinancing the current agreements.
right,
And if we went for someone else. it
we'd have to
would-
buy out a benchmark.
We'd have to buy out, unless the company. I don't know if other companies would buy out their contracts and refinance it. I don't know how that works.
I thought,
No, I
can
didn't.
we approve a contract that doesn't have an opt-out clause?
It,
Or is that one of the?
yeah, that's what the amendment has.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's, so they did.
yes, yeah.
You know how much money that's gonna save?
It's not.
It's not, but we're getting 4 new machines. So we have 4 machines that are fixing to come. The county clerks went out of contract in January. So they're just month by month right now. The district attorney, district clerk,
How's this helping anything?
and it just consolidates everything into one contract.
And
So we don't have all these little contracts that come due at all these different times and everybody's just kind of making their
So
own
we came
contract.
across an issue where people, I don't know if they didn't know that there was a maintenance contract or what, but they just kind of pushed it to the side and weren't using it, but the county kept paying
They kept paying.
because nobody knew when the contract was up. It wasn't centralized to where people knew that that they were on a contract.
They stuck it in the
first.
closet basically, and we were still paying for it.
And so by
That's a-
putting them
that's a
all
bigger
on
problem.
one contract, then everybody's aware that they are on a contract, when it's gonna be up for renewal. Most of the machines will be on kind of the same schedule to get updated at the same time.
It's not gonna
It's
save
gonna
us
be
any
about
money.
$4,400 extra per year. But that's replacing 4, because you've got 4 contracts that are gonna be coming up anyway.
Right.
So those are probably gonna increase with the new contracts.
I mean, that's
You're gonna have One
inevitable.
come up and it's gonna be a little bit more, and then you're gonna have another one come up, it'll probably be a little bit more, and who knows after you've renewed all the contracts, how much it's gonna be in addition. Because the ones that we just did for the annex and the juvenile went up. I wanna say like $100 a month.
Mhm.
So you just have one.
Just with, price increases and new machines and yeah.
And that would be you?
Me and the
One
judge.
person, okay.
Yeah.
Do y'all have another company that we can take these to and say, these are the machines we need? What would the cost be for one contract?
And we have to figure in the buyout because we're already under a contract with,
Oh, that's.
Do we know what that is? The total buyout on it?
If we're locking into a 5-year contract.
we just started a contract on the juvenile and annex. I mean, so we just started that. So the buyout's gonna be pretty large for that.
We're gonna save thousands over 5 years, though. That's worth looking into. Thing. Cause that's 63. And why is it 63 months? In my ignorance, instead of just 60.
That I don't know either,
Okay.
but some of their agreements say 60 and some of them say 63.
I didn't know that was.
And it may be because of getting some of them all having to do with the refinancing. I don't know if that had anything, that would be a question for.
I didn't know if you were trying to get it towards the end of the fiscal year or anything like that. It was just what they put on there.
That's just.
Okay.
I would like to see us move forward with this.
I love having one
Yes.
company.
And then in 5 years, we can go out for bids because we're not gonna have to do a buyout or anything like that. We can go out for bids, decide if this is the best if we can get a better deal somewhere else, then we'll go somewhere else. It's my thought.
Just think if we're binding other people to the purchasing policy, we're not doing our due diligence to trying to require other bids.
You said this one is,
Co-op.
exempt from that,
They're a co-op,
so that's what makes it exempt.
right?
From the bid, from the sealed bid.
Oh, but not from our policy.
No.
So if we have a policy that everybody has to get bids, then it's a no-brainer for me.
Well, this,
I mean, we
so I'm
wrote
the one
that.
who usually brings it up. So I can't.
Yeah, if we wrote a policy, then we have to do it. So, I've moved to table this till other bids come in.
Okay.
Sorry, it took my brain a while to grab hold of everything we were saying. So,
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, motion second to table this and
So how will we get those bids? Like, do we have a company to reach out to? Or are we just gonna go, like, did we get this through the co-op? Or they're just part of one, so it,
Is that quote, through co-op now?
that's what I'm saying. Cause just cause.
Yes, they go through the co-op.
So we can get another, we can just put it out there on the co-op and, or like,
And if
look at what,
you don't get
Yeah,
anything, and if you
there's
don't
other
get it,
co-ops that we can go through
okay.
or.
that's fine.
well, I want to say, have we already seconded and voted yet?
we had a motion second, we don't have a vote.
Sorry. I'm not changing. I just want to say thank y'all for doing it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fine.
I didn't
really
want to
liked
mess
it,
up.
'cause I
Yeah, thank,
definitely want-
because this is a big thing I've been wanting us to do for a long time. So thank y'all for making it happen, because it's just proper business.
I agree.
Okay, so we have a motion second to table this agenda item, see if we can get some more bids. All in favor, say aye. Justin? Oh. What am I doing? All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve credit application for wind supply. Monica, is that you?
No, that's,
Who is that? Courthouse?
yeah, what it is supplies, like plumbing supplies,
Oh, right, right.
stuff that we have to get from Amarillo, like flush valves, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, there are better prices, and they're also willing to stuff we use occasionally, they're willing to keep it in stock instead of having to order it. They do have better prices.
And I brought it to the court because on their credit application, they have a requirement for a personal guarantee. And I didn't want to be the personal guarantee, so I don't know who you want me to put as the personal guarantee.
What is that? What
So-
exactly are we guaranteeing?
That means if still doesn't get paid, that person has to pay for it.
Oh,
I don't think legally we can do that as a corporation, the taxable,
An individual can
Yeah.
guarantee it.
we can't. So
That's consideration for seller extending credit to applicant under the account, the undersigned guarantor,
I know they probably have it on them, but
right? I'm just saying what you're signing, unconditionally, irrevocably, personally guarantees the performance under the. Right, cut it off.
Harry says-
Collection costs up to $5 million.
Harry will do it. Well, what I'm saying is legally, I don't think we can. We can't
I don't think so
guarantee
either.
anything
I
individual.
think we need to figure out if
You can put
It's-
Hutchinson County, period.
mandatory, not be a mandatory.
They have to talk to them and make sure that they understand that we're a county.
Can we just use the courthouse credit card to go through that company? We have to have like this
Well,
credit account with them.
yes and no, but like, they're willing to stock a lot of stuff and keep it there, so when you just pick it up when they need it.
Gotcha.
They're not gonna do that unless you have an account there.
I bet they got to do something with government.
I'm sure they'll
Yeah, I'm
be okay with this, you may just have to talk to them.
Yeah,
so,
And I can reach out to them and see if they have a governmental application that, they will allow. Or if they will allow to do it without the personal guarantee.
so are you guys thinking that we could approve that with those conditions.
Yes, I like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the credit application for wind supply contingent on removing the personal guarantee. Item.
okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I guess I could, that was your,
All right, thank you.
said I should have let you do it.
No, that's fine. That's-
All right, item 14, consider and or approve county credit cards for various departments or individuals. I think Alicia sent you all a list.
We have 3 more, I got the request from the 84th district judge, they're requesting 2 department cards and then the county airport over requesting a card. And I put those credit limits at $1,500 each. That leaves $4,750 left in our credit, our county whole credit. So I think that kind of should be the end of credit cards. I think pretty much everybody who wants one has gotten one. And then that just leaves the $4,700 kind of in the bank to use if there's an emergency.
Right.
or-
Comments, motion?
I move to approve the submitted credit card request for the departments.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Did you have something we needed to sign? I thought I printed that off. I can't find it. Okay, item 15 is to consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. Judge Mosley submitted a project. Judge, I'm going to speak to your project. It's to redo his courtroom benches with the same company that redid the county courtroom benches.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking for. To think largely successful, that maybe they need to be tighter.
Right.
Which I'll ask them for, but I would need to get that done. You know, jury service is a figurative pain in the rear, but it's also become a literal pain in the rear.
It has.
Because people are getting.
Yeah, somebody got caught on a staple.
Yes.
That's good.
I try to make jury service as painless as possible. Can't actually do that with staples sticking out of one deal. So that's what I'm asking for, is just the same exact thing that they've listed to these, they would do to ours.
I move, oh, no, go ahead.
I move to approve the ARP request for the 360 district court in the amount of, where to go, 8172.
Yes.
No, second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, the next project we have is from Carrie Kimmel in the tag office for a shredder. Do you want to address that?
Our office does a lot of shredding. Kelly can vouch for that because we go and borrow hers. So we decided to put in and ask for a shredder because we just have a little bitty shredder and it's not capable of shredding.
Of keeping up.
Right. And so I put in 3 different bids. One from Gerald's office supply, one from the office supply. And I like one Gerald.
For $2,710.99.
I move to approve the purchase from Gerald's Office Supply, a new shredder for the tax assessor's office in the amount of $202,710.99 out of ARP.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thanks, Carrie.
If I need it on my computer. It's doing it over his shoulder.
Right.
What?
Let's use the.
None of my files are coming up.
All right, the
Over on
next
Chris.
project is from the sheriff / jail for a vehicle at the jail. Who's going to speak on that? Monica, sure.
Things to talk about.
Okay, did everyone get the?
Yes, and
Didn't get the attached.
no, because it didn't come through. So here's the tips quote for that vehicle.
So originally we wanted to, we're at 60% of our budget year. We've used 3% of our inmate housing. So we originally wanted to move the money, because we have what, $111,000.
We have $100,000 in the inmate housing. We've used less than 3%.
So the original idea was to move this money from our inmate housing, because there's no way we're gonna use that much money over into a different line item and then just purchasing the car out of that. However, been made aware that we're not about to do that. So we've gone a different route, questioning us through ARP. There is only, of course, this is on, this TIPS is also a co-op that we've located vehicles from. The issue that we're running into is no one else has vehicles. And so getting bids from everywhere else, if we go with the civilian model vehicle, it's gonna be, so this is the bottom dollar price to have it in stock, and we will pick it up and should get it approved. So basically, it's just a quote for one vehicle for the jail. We run into multiple issues where we've had different things going on, different times. I have dates and times of incidents where there's been one vehicle's here, then we have to go to across the country to pick someone else up, and then we have to go pick someone else up at the same time. The issue with handing down vehicles from the sheriff's office to the jail is we run them completely ragged by the time the jail gets them. Taking them across country, the reliability of a vehicle that's 150,000 miles on it. I don't like the thought of that. So
we don't always just use the van for.
So I went back, if you're interested in, I went back just for a month to show. I wanted to start off first. This car has 185,000 miles on it. It's a 2016.
Tahoe.
It's maintained very well.
And it was one that was handed down from the sheriff's.
It was the sheriff's office before. So before we got it, it was used in pursuits. It was driven a whole lot harder than what the jail uses it for. The jail uses it more like somebody would use their personal vehicle. So if we got a new one, it's going to last us a lot longer. It's coming to the point where mechanical things are starting to tear up on it. It's waiting, Country Chevrolet to have some work done right now. Like I said, I did go back a month just to give examples of when both vehicles are tied up. Sergeant Smith had the Tahoe in a conference from the 12th, or excuse me, from March 19th to the 23rd. During that same time, on the 22nd, we had a mental commitment where we had to take an inmate to Lubbock, so the van was tied up. The very next day, we went to Hell County and Castro County to pick up inmates. The same month, the 25th through the 28th, I had two officers that went to pick an inmate up in Vancouver, Washington. During that same time period, I had an inmate that had to be picked up on the 26th in Oklahoma. And then the 27th, we had to take two inmates to Potter County to catch chain. April 3rd, we had a mental commitment in Lubbock. And that same day, we had a transport to Potter County to catch chain bus. April 5th through the 8th, we had to go to Pickens County in South Carolina. We took the Tahoe for that one, but during that same time, from the 7th to the 9th, we had an inmate that was in the hospital having emergency surgery. Deputies actually had to help with that because that caused two vehicles to be in rotation from relieving each other, plus the Tahoe being tied up in Carolina, South Carolina. We had another inmate in Potter, Lubbock, and then the 17th and the 18th, we picked up an inmate in Orange County. And on the 17th, we had doctor's appointments. So it's used just as much as the van is. And it does happen a lot. I mean, that's very typical. Like I said, I just went back for the last month, but that's very typical for us
to have things going on where both vehicles are tied up.
Can I ask why all of a sudden is this something we need, or can we budget it for next year?
Like I said, it has 185,000 miles on it. When Officer Arhone took this Tahoe to South Carolina, when he came back, the clutch fan was, I believe is what it's called, was staying on all the time. Country Chevrolet says the thermostat needs repair, the leaking oil cooler lines, and induction service for rough idle and hesitation, that's $1,800. It's just one of those things that at this many miles, at what point do we stop pouring money into it? I think we're already to the point where this mileage, we're not going to get anything for a trade-in. And personally, I don't want to be, I'm going to a conference at the end of this week to San Angelo. I don't want to be broke down by myself, and I certainly don't want myself or one of my officers to be broke down with the inmate. That's the last thing we need. When we go on some of these stretches, there's a long drive before you're to the next town, and you don't want to be stuck broke down.
No, if it's possible to make an exception this one time to move those funds over with y'all's approval, that would be the ideal situation.
That's what I was gonna ask, is it, sorry, I
It's
didn't mean
in
to
the
interrupt.
budget amendment policy that is one line item that we don't move any, we put that big amount in because we were having to pay Panhandle. And so.
But
we
inmate
put a
housing.
big line item in the budget with the stipulation that we wouldn't use it for line item transfers.
And I understand
And it's
that.
listed as in the policy as one of the accounts we can't move.
And I don't know if that's something you can go back and amend, and I understand the purpose behind it, but like you mentioned, we're 60% into the budget year. There's no way we're gonna spend almost $100,000, and our count is low, and it's been low for quite some time. We've used less than 3% of that. Even if we used half of that for inmate housing, that still would leave half of it that this could be used for. I don't think you're gonna get anything for the trade-in. It's a vehicle that could maybe stay here close, and the courthouse could use it, or maybe IT could use it, or even the airport. I know y'all had mentioned that. I know you don't ever want to be broke down anywhere, but if you were broke down between Stanton and Border, that's not a huge.
Airports would be used in town, so it's no big deal. You just need a vehicle.
The airport's supposed to get one of our Ts, and then I think this will get one of Road and Bridge pickups when they finally do theirs, but I don't know if this will be better or not.
It just doesn't need to be on the road for the amounts of travel that goes on.
So how many miles typically does this type of vehicle get a year? Because it's got 185. What year did y'all get it? You don't know?
I think it was 2 years ago.
And about how many, do you know how many miles the last few years on average kind of this vehicle would get used?
It probably just fluctuates depending on,
It's becoming increasingly more and more and more.
Yeah, okay.
When I first started, we never needed 2 vehicles. But I mean, crime is up and people have more medical issues.
Right. Because I definitely don't want y'all to break down with the inmate, but
So that's not,
we looked at like used vehicles that would be like 20, 30,000 miles. Are there any of those out there right now? The
I haven't
market?
even looked at that. I know when we get these from these kind of places, mine doesn't need to be fully loaded like what theirs are, but it still has to be equipped with the cage, things like that, a place for.
Does this one come equipped with that?
The cage will have to be added, but I do have a place where I can. But it does have the light, it does have the place for the radio, a basic police model, I guess is what they call it.
yeah, and we might be able to almost the page. Checking. But I think
So you don't know how many miles you're running a year roughly?
it's gonna fluctuate depending on what transports come up across the country, what conferences they go to. I mean, there's not a solid number that we come up with, I assume.
I try to use the Tahoe as little as possible for the longer trips, but it's becoming increasingly more and more needed. The van has, I think, 102,000 miles on it. I want to say, is it a 2017? Do you know?
Seems like we just bought that a couple years ago.
That old.
18 or 19, so I was still in the sheriff's office.
It was when Coker was here.
18 or 19.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
19 maybe.
102 already.
I mean, we go a lot of places.
25, it's about 25 a
I think
year.
that was 19.
Well, that's if we're, well,
It may be.
we drive it every day,
I think so.
but they go. big places.
You already have that many miles on that since it was, wow. Quite a few.
So I'm just curious, did we say, it's a policy, not a law? We can't move money out of there because we set a policy. They said we couldn't, or y'all asked us to set a policy?
We set a policy.
We set a policy.
Okay.
We set the
We set the
policy.
policy. Sorry, I don't remember everything we do.
Because there's a big chunk of money in there.
Okay.
It, you know, in the event that we would have to use it, but
But we put a big
There's-
chunk because y'all thought we might use it, right?
Yes, and there's not, like, even if we had to start housing today, with 40% of the budget year left, there's no way that we're even gonna spend half of that.
And the only reason why I'm not wanting to use ARP money is we've bought so many cars for the
Oh,
sheriff's
absolutely.
department out of
I would
ARP
much
money
rather-
already.
I would much rather use this money if allowed,
I wish we could.
if that's something that you guys can go back and amend.
Of course, if we amend it now, it'll
Trying to
set the
press-
precedent
Yeah.
where everybody says,
At this point, it's
Used to make housing before, so now we can just use it for whatever.
yeah, I mean, at this point, it's 12 on one hand and a dozen the other.
Right.
mean,
I know,
it's gonna
I
be-
know when we get ready to do this next budget year, we won't be asking for that amount of money in inmate housing.
No, like
It's
Chris
not
said,
a typical.
the end result's still the same.
yeah.
I don't want to set a precedent when we're just talking about the same.
Either
So-
ARP money, it's grant money versus tax.
So I go back to what I originally asked. Could we get through the year and then put this in your budget next year for this?
I'm not,
Dumps a motor or something else, we're gonna be out more and more money. So, I mean, anything's possible. We can-
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's,
think we
if
have
you
to
could
go
say next
over.
year, we want this in our budget added.
no, but we're just barely into the end of April, and here we are.
if we budget that, we're gonna use taxpayers' money.
Or we're using taxpayers' money anyway.
This is grant money.
No, you mean ARP.
It's-
Right,
Bill,
it is.
taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, y'all
Spread
know,
across the whole United States.
y'all know I'm ready to get rid of ARP money so we can get back to business as
That's
usual.
why I just want to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want 3 vans?
this isn't. Everybody's gonna forget to how those.
It does come from the TIPS purchasing co-op, so it gets, because it's over $50,000.
What's
But
it? Sorry, go ahead.
So
I mean-
Monica said she contacted other places, but no one has one
So I
available.
talked to the place where we actually got the van from. And I asked, not just for specific vehicle, like what do you guys have in stock? And he told me that he didn't have anything on the floor. And that everything that he did have was 5 to 6 months out. And basically, if you found something, you should sweep it up. The company that sheriff contacted, he literally said, this is the only thing I have on the ground. There's nothing else available. The only reason these are even available is because the city of Fort Worth had ordered Ford Explorers originally, and something came up where they were able to get a hold of some Tahoes, and that's the only reason they're on the ground.
I'm fine with ARP, but going forward, do we have any policy on like mileage, like when it gets to a certain like 150? Do we have anything that we just?
Like the other vehicles, it's 100, what we said, 120 for law enforcement, 150 for everybody else.
Oh, okay.
And my vehicles aren't gonna be, like I said, aren't the same kind of miles as
It's
his.
gonna last for.
Right.
Yours should fall under the 150.
Just highway driving, basically.
Well, that's what I was saying. So
Like we would drive your personal
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
so we set 150 on that. And this, we're at 185 on this. Was there, I mean, was it just running okay last budget year and we didn't like,
It was
Wanna
the
look into
one,
it?
so like he said, we always get the hand-me-down at the
Right.
jail unless it's a van. And it was the one that was in best condition
During that time.
at that time. And it's been a good vehicle, but it's just getting to that point.
I'm okay with ARP, but I think we need to change the way we do this.
I just think, I mean,
Maybe,
I'm not gonna be asking for one for, I mean, if we get one with 0 miles on it, it's, or a handful of miles, but.
but once it hits 150, if we can start, because I mean, if that's about 25,000 a year, it was about 160 at the end of the last budget year. And I just don't want to get into a predicament like this when we don't have ARP and the safety. So I mean, even if it's running good, it's 150, we need to have that plan of even like drop it
I
down.
think
to-
maybe rotate it out of your patrol cars into places like this before they pour out, before they get them miles, I'll rotate them down. And where they're still good vehicles.
I move to approve the purchase of the 2023 Ford SUV for the jail in the amount of $50,424.25 taken from ARP.
Second.
Question.
Man, always questioning my emotions.
We don't have anything budgeted for capital assets, so would you like for me to reclassify some from facility repairs to cover?
Yes,
No, no.
I would like to amend my motion to move money as requested.
In the facility repairs.
About 50, we'll still have like 400 and.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
We're good.
Per the auditor.
They haven't seen our roof bills yet. They haven't seen our roof bills.
Wayne,
yet.
you heard me? Thank you, Wayne, I appreciate
It's already in there.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Chris. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
After offered.
And I sent all these
And I
out to
made a note,
you.
so.
And it's
And
like,
it'll be right, and you want a vehicle.
Yes.
I already did.
I thought, I asked if they wanted 3 and then I said,
Okay, the only other project, and it's not really a project, it's just a reimbursement request from the United Way. They sent all of their supporting documentation for the full-time peer support salary, part-time peer support salary, and the training that they had. So they're asking for a reimbursement of $15,767.52.
And this is for the first quarter of 2023, so January 1 through 3/31.
Did y'all see that? Y'all have a chance to look at all that? I think I sent it to y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. I got any questions on that? Need a motion?
me again?
I'll make the motion, man. Or approve the 15,752 for reimbursement.
second, but it's 15,767.50.
767.50.
767?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. That's all the ARP projects I have. Item 16, consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
Current drought index is of 561. You have some promising forecasts this week. Pray that happens. That's like no action this time.
No. Right, item 17, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. I don't think I have any this time. 18, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
Cindy Irwin, County Judge, Judicial Education Record with Texas Association of Counties, 9/1/22, 16 hours, 10/3/22, 4 hours, 3/8/23, 15 hours. Ben Bentley, Commissioner, Precinct 3, Certificate of Completion, Cybersecurity Awareness Training. Amanda Wasong, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Texas State University Justice Course Training Center has successfully completed fiscal year 23 Justice of the Peace Court Training, Stage 1, 2, and 3. Dwight Kirksey, Commissioner, Precinct 2, Certificate of Completion, Commissioner's Education. And that's all I have.
Item 19, consider and or approve request for the use of the club rooms at the Border Library or Fritz.
I don't have any, but I do want to say that the book sale is this week. So Ben, if you're not going, gotta go to the book sale, buy you some books this week.
I'm
You
not.
gotta buy some for us.
I'm gonna be babysitting the roof.
But Thursday, Friday and Saturday, say Saturday 10 to 4 at the club room and the book sale room
In Border,
in Border. And there's some vinyls there too this time.
really?
Mhm.
Cool.
It's a 45.
Oh. I just got a turntable. Cool.
See you there.
All right.
We'll be in Lubbock.
Yeah.
Saturday, we won't be.
You sleeping?
So I
I'll
have,
be there.
on May 6th, I have a birthday party at our club room.
Happy birthday.
And May 13th, a graduation party. And then May 27th, a baby shower. I'm having all of those.
Congratulations.
Wow. What, I just briefly looked at that email you sent.
So there's somebody that approached Delina about, they wanted to actually
Rent.
the library. But I did notice after I sent that out that that's on a Thursday, so we can't, of course, close the library. You know, we had them look at the club room, but no, they weren't as interested in that. So there's a gentleman that they are going to do like a documentary on veterans. So they're specifically wanting this gentleman that lives in Bridge.
Mhm.
So they looked at a few other places, but so no, I didn't know whether or not we could just say, you know, we're open that day. If you want to do it Friday, you know, maybe, but Thursday, we sure couldn't, you know, shut down the library.
Do they were they wanting us to shut it down while they did this or?
Well, originally they said while we were closed.
Oh, they want to do it while we're closed. Oh,
So I still have yet to connect with her, but I'll ask a few more questions.
and get back with us.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I don't know legally if we can ever rent a public building.
Right.
And so, when I read your email, if by chance they have to do something after hours and it's just a production, that falls on my responsibility. Because we can't ask your employees to stay, without compensation. And so if that is something that, we would need to do, that would have to be through me.
Okay.
And so, anyway.
So even if that's like that Thursday night.
Yeah, if it's that Thursday night, they would have to work with me on that because we can't ask our employees to work.
Sure.
That's not deemed an emergency or a necessary thing. So that would have to be either you or I, because we're salary or exempt.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, item 20, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
I received a check for a stray cat. They couldn't find the owner, so they sold it at the sale. So we're gonna put that money back into the stray account to offset the feeding of the animal while we had it. And then there's a budget amendment to move insurance proceeds for the museum that we received in the prior year into the building maintenance account to cover the repair of the roof. And then also for the courthouse, insurance proceeds that we had received in the prior year to cover the courthouse and jail.
Museum's the floor though.
Do you have,
Flooring museum.
Oh, the flooring. I didn't put one, sorry.
No, you're
do you have something you need us to sign?
Yes.
Sorry.
I move to approve the stated budget amendments and transfers. Amen. I don't know how to end. It It was like there should have been more, but there wasn't, so I didn't know how to.
Amen.
I like that. Okay, do we have a second? Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
You didn't get anything on me.
No,
Just an open-ended sentence.
I will.
That's what I like that you're making that motion. You kept like adding a sentence here and then. like-
I ask you that, yeah.
I'll just let
Okay.
it.
All right, item 21, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids.
I have a request to go out for still bid from Commissioner Brock, for the air on the dam roof.
Library roof.
Library room, sorry.
Well, it's two ongoing projects.
You're confusing me.
So this is this is the bid that we were talking about. They're gonna take the TPO up the parapet walls and wrap around about the 2 foot width of the walls to make sure that humidity and moisture. It's the same thing. Moisture doesn't get into the adobe there, make it a little bit more waterproof.
So the wall doesn't
So the only section is the kids area, and we want to hold on to that as long as possible. We don't want open haired. But I don't know if we have to.
Don't we move to
Do I need to move
open
to-
Yeah.
for bids?
So I move to approve the request for the sealed bid that I created.
Okay.
Providing, I want to give Alicia a lot of credit too, because we got stuff from that tips guy that came and
Still
spoke.
sign this to go out for bid.
She combined it with, she looked over it. You read every page, right? But thank you for that.
Okay. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to go out for bids for the library roof.
And those will run in the paper this Friday and next Friday. And then they'll be opened on May the 15th. That's the soonest that we can open bids.
You'll see the 4 vendors that I listed to go out, but if you guys have another company that you like, I'd like to make sure they get it in their hands too. So just let me know.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 22, consider and yes,
Have anything on 20?
line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
We got you.
We approved them all.
I think Laura just popped this in over to y'all, it's for that vehicle that's a country to be repaired.
You know anything about it, Alicia?
Well,
Probably just now got the email to you, and she said.
But it'll be on.
It'll have to be on next time then, yeah. Thank you. All right, item 22, consider and or approve donations. No. 23, accept reports from elected or appointed officials.
Amanda Wassong, Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, submitted her March 23rd monthly report. She was having some issues with that, so it was just a little bit late. And then first quarter 2023 incident report from the Fritch Volunteer Fire Department. And then Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted his daily report for 4/6/23 to 4/23/23.
Item 24, discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. What y'all got? We're starting on the roof this week, next week.
Not sure if it's supposed to be rainy for a couple of days, but
We'll take the rain.
we'll just have to see when we start now. I'm not sure.
They started moving equipment over there though, right?
Got equipment in and they're getting everything here. Just hadn't officially started yet.
Okay.
Probably next few days.
Anything else?
Museum flooring project should start sometime this week or next week. Get that retiled.
Good.
For the library roof. About a month.
We're still waiting on the engineer and the contractor to get together for the JP's project.
But they're,
They're supposed to
Hopefully.
get together.
okay, good.
Contacted both of them, so.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, do y'all remember, I mean, I know most of us are new, but there's a screen door at the library in Rich. It's like it's a house screen door on the front. It's kind of unprofessional in my opinion. I fixed the handle on it last week and but it still looks unprofessional. And I don't know if there's a purpose for that. I would like to either replace the door with glass or if there was any reasoning for that. I asked Delina and them, but
Just change it out, man.
Well, I didn't know whether there was a purpose on that.
Yeah, the air conditioning
Yeah.
quits.
Voters, that door as well.
So the
They
screen
vote.
door, it's just odd, isn't it? It doesn't look, it's an actual door like from your house on there.
No.
Put whatever you want on there.
Well, I thought there might be a purpose.
Set a purpose on the door.
I'll be honored.
Keep the mosquitoes out, I guess. I don't know.
It'll be a $90,000 ARP fund.
Hey, you guys got anything else on that?
Joking.
We don't have any struck off tax properties. Okay, so Gary?
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
You got a second?